Hi, I'm astrologer and life coach Penny Dix. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back if you're a regular visitor here. If you're new here, a special welcome to you. And thank you so much for joining me, and I would love it if you could subscribe. Now today, I'm bringing you all the astrological energies that you need to know to handle the forthcoming full moon in Cancer. So it's on January the 6th. And, you know, Cancer is such a loving, nurturing sign. So we need to look at what this energy is about and how it sets the tone for the month of January. And in a sense, as it's the first full moon of the year, how it sets the tone for the rest of the year. So the full moon is in Cancer, and of course is opposite the sun in Capricorn. And the sun is conjunct retrograde Mercury. And yes, you'll remember that Mercury is now retrograde, so we're getting general kind of slowdowns with communications. But you know, sometimes they can be timely. Sometimes we can really value the times when things get held up or delayed. Gives us a time, it gives us a chance, if you like, to breathe. So the moon, of course, as I said, is in its home sign of Cancer. So we do have an emphasis about family, nurturing, soothing maternal energies, and it's setting the tone for what's going to unfold. I think with this moon, because the moon is feminine anyway, and Cancer that it rules is very much about those kind of maternal, mothering energies. I feel this moon always reminds us to respect feminine energies. And in a sense, the divine feminine. Now, when I say the divine feminine, I'm thinking about the goddess Sophia, because Sophia is known as the goddess of wisdom, the divine feminine. Now, interestingly, Sophia in this guise is revered in the Russian Orthodox Church. So, is this a full moon of wisdom? Is it inviting us to go within and actually find our inner kind of knowing and wisdom? With Mercury retrograde conjunct with the sun in opposition to this, there is a sense that we need to be mindful of the way we communicate, to think before we speak, and use some of that inner wisdom that Sophia provides to help us see the bigger picture. I do feel with this moon that there's a need for relationship healing. And it's about recognizing that any sudden endings that arise around this energy, because we've got retrograde Uranus, my big outer boy of the unexpected amongst other things. But Uranus is actually making a nice trine to the sun. So what I feel is, because also Uranus is making a sextile, which is another helpful aspect to the full moon, it's a bit like saying whatever the nature of the shocks or apparent losses, they're ultimately timely and positive, and maybe they have needed to end for some time. So it certainly gives us a lot of kind of food for thought. Chiron, our wounded healer, our asteroid in Aries, is actually squaring both the sun and the moon. So that's where I'm feeling that there is this real need to bring in healing. And these are wounds that maybe are covered up by scars, but somehow deep within, the pain is still there. Now that could be in relationships or with family matters. You will have to pick and choose from what I kind of lay on the table, if you like, as to how it's appropriate for you. But I will be going through each of the zodiac signs to let you know which area of your chart that this full moon is in. So how's the planet going to fare? Well, what it made me think of, because of Sophia, goddess of wisdom, I thought of Ukraine and Russia. And I think because of the symbolism of the goddess Sophia as a light for the Russian Orthodox Church, I really feel it's imploring the two sides to exercise wisdom and work towards solutions that bring the war to an end. The presence, however, of that unpredictable big outer boy of mine, Uranus, retrograde, is suggesting that surprising turns of events and a shift in the balance of power might affect what is going on in that part of the world. I think it's also worth noting that, and this is just coming to me because we have Jupiter in Aries is not that far away still from Neptune in Pisces. And this is what's just coming to me. And Jupiter, remember, expands everything. Neptune can be viruses and illnesses. And I'm just thinking about the difficulties at the moment that China are having with travellers from China now being checked around various parts of the world because they're spreading COVID around. So I think this full moon is shedding light on that as well. And it's asking us to be mindful of the healing that the world needs to have from this Chiron squaring both the sun and the moon. And I think that what it brings up are the tough energies that we've got to deal with around everything that we all went through with the pandemic. And I think that it's important that the world, if you like, acts quickly to avoid a kind of overloading of various hospitals around the planet if this surge comes, which I'm still picking up from Jupiter in Aries and Neptune. So that was just a little kind of extra thing that I wanted to say. But, you know, healing in general, and especially within families and close friends, it really needs to start happening with this full moon. And what it means is that there are probably truths within these various relationships and family relationships that really need to be faced. But how is it going to affect you personally? Well, in a minute, as I said, I'm going to come on to the individual zodiac signs, and remember to check out your own, not only your sun sign, but also your rising sign. So, as I said, I think this full moon is inviting us to look closely at our family relationships, to see where we can be kinder, more caring, more nurturing. The unexpected events that Uranus can bring will, I think, have us searching for our own inner wisdom to see the best way to go forward. I also think that because Uranus can be kind of invention and innovation, sometimes we have to just kind of think outside the box and be a little kind of inventive with how we heal family rifts. So my final thoughts. In no way do I see this as a bad or difficult full moon. I think with retrograde Mercury, we might actually be glad of any delays that occur around this full moon, because it will give us a chance to rest and recharge our batteries. Because this has been probably the first Christmas and New Year that we've had where it's been more or less normal for most of the planet, because the last, nearly 3 years have been so full of challenges with all the difficulties that we faced. So I also want to just say, if you're feeling lost or alone, a bit flat after all these festivities, the Cancer moon does give you that chance to nurture and care for the most important person in your life. Now, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? It's you. You have to look after you. You can't be there in any kind of good capacity if you're not taking care of you first. And more importantly, not just you, but that inner child. So there we go. So let's see what part of the chart each of the signs has this energy unfolding in. Aries, for you it's in your 4th house of home and family. I think for you it's a time of reflection. I think you're going to be going within and really thinking about how you go forward this year with regards to perhaps close family relationships. I think there's something about significant relationships in your life where energies have to shift or certain boundaries have to change. I feel that's around for you. And the healing that Chiron can bring is like, start with yourself, Aries. Remember, Chiron is in your sign. So please take some time out to give yourself some inner healing. So Taurus, well, this is about how you communicate. And Taurus, on the whole, apart from being a bit fixed and stubborn at times, you tend to think before you speak, unless you're just pushed like the red rag to the bull that you are, to that limit where you just explode. This full moon, I think, is suggesting you cool it around anything that may be going on within the family circle. Don't rise to the bait. Don't react. Respond. This energy won't last very long. It'll pass and things will settle down. So Gemini, what is happening for you, Gemini? Well, it's in your 2nd house of finance. And also this is about how you value you. It's also the house of luxury goods. Maybe you're looking at how you can kind of change in some way your whole attitude to how you manage your finances. Maybe you need to look at what unnecessary expenses need to go. That would be good use of this full moon energy. It's like, again, what I was saying about think about you first. It's not always wrong for us to think about ourselves and put ourselves first. It doesn't mean we do it in an inflated or arrogant way. It's just that we actually give ourselves that time and attention to see how we can shift and change the areas of our life that are important to us in a positive and constructive way. And I think this full moon is saying, actually, you know what? Start having a bit more faith in yourself, Gemini. Value you. You are worth it. Cancer. This is your full moon, so you set off the whole of the year with this glorious full moon in your sign. And because the 1st house is about our kind of individuality, our kind of identity, I wonder if you start the year quite reflective and thinking about really how you want to see yourself in 12 months' time, how you want to change, how you want to grow this year. What habits or behaviors do you need to discard, get rid of, change, stop doing. You know, sometimes it really is that we have to reflect on how often we are not so kind to ourselves. So Cancer, take time out for you with this full moon. It's your full moon. This is about your soul. So kind of bask in that wonderful lunar energy. So then we come on to Leo. So for you, Leo, this is in a very reflective and inner part of your chart. It is about you going within. I think after all the festivities of the last couple of weeks, you're really needing some time out, some time to just catch your breath, think about what the next steps are that you want to do for you. And if you've been under any kind of emotional or mental kind of discomfort or stress, then this is a really good moon to just really seriously put everything on Do Not Disturb and just chill with a good box set or whatever and just have some time for you. So then we come on to Virgo. Virgo, this is a really nice placement for you because it's in your 11th house. And this is the part of your chart about your kind of your dreams, your hopes, your wishes. This is like a green light for you to start something new. I know it's a full moon, which is about potentially endings. But what you have to think about is what has to go from your life to make space for you to start following some of your dreams and actually making some of your dreams manifesting in a really positive and possible way. That's what I think this full moon is. You need to really collect your thoughts together and actually be focused on just one or two things. Don't scatter your energies. Just think, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it well. So now we move on to Libra. Libra. So this is about if you're working, this is about your career. It can be your passion in life. It can be how the general public see you. It's your kind of public face, if you like. And I actually think that this full moon, in a sense, is bringing you back into the shadows for a while. I think you're another sign that would just like to chill for a while and just kind of like catch your breath. I think it's been an incredibly busy time for you, Libra. I think you've been rushing all over the place and you need time with this full moon. You know, Cancer is about nurturing. It's about nurturing the self, caring for the self. So really kind of use that energy. You know, there's a lot of us, I think, in all the zodiac signs this time with this full moon, that we need to just look at maybe letting go of behaviors, for example, habits that really we don't need to take with us into 2023. Now let's look at Scorpio. Scorpio, are you making decisions about, well, travel? That's one thing that comes to mind, that you may be really seriously thinking about. Also, in a sense, what you can achieve this year in terms of expanding your knowledge. And that's like travel, because expanding our knowledge comes when we travel. I think you need to get out there, Scorpio, and find some ways to bring in and stimulate your psyche, your soul. I think you've got a bit stale and stagnant, and you need something to inspire you. So even if you're just going to sort of go onto the internet and look at far off places and think of different countries that you would like to visit, or different cultures that you would like to experience, I think it would be a really good use of this full moon energy to just look at what you need to let go of to allow the new to come in. And now we come to Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, this is in the part of your chart to do with joint finance. It can be beginnings and endings and transformation. And I wonder, Sagittarius, if it's a very interesting moon, this, because it feels like everyone, and maybe it is because it's the new year, and so that we do tend to reflect on what we want to take forward with us. But I think for you, Sagittarius, you're looking very much at the sort of joint finances that you have or any investments that you've got. I think you're going to be really honing your budget. I think you're going to be looking at what you need to really kind of have in place for 2023. How you want your kind of joint finances, if you have that with someone, or your investments or anything in your piggy bank, anything that you want to somehow accrue is going to be under the spotlight with this full moon. And perhaps looking at something that you have been working on and thinking, is this really serving me well? And maybe actually I need to let it go. And now we come on to Capricorn. So Capricorn, for you, this is in your 7th house of significant relationships. This is a lovely position to start the year on, because I think if you're single, then, or at the beginning of a tentative relationship, for example, this can mean the end of the single life. It's a bit like the death card in the tarot, because interestingly, the death card can often turn up in the cards of somebody who is about to get married. I know that's all a bit outdated now, getting married, but making a firm commitment to another, because it's the end of their single life. So some of you might find that your single life is coming to an end. Some of you might find relationships that really don't serve you need to be changed. Certain ways of behaving need to be restructured. Even sometimes relationships can end, but it's not really always necessarily that dramatic. And I think if there are any sudden changes, they're actually for the good, because remember that Uranus is making a trine and a sextile. So I think it's actually quite, if there are any kind of changes that kind of shock you a bit, you might go, oh, actually, this is quite good. So trust that, because it'll change the nature of your relationship. So then we come on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, this is very much about how do you serve others? How do you serve yourself? Are you good at taking care of others as well as you take care of yourself? And how do you make your routine work for you in a kind of way that is nurturing? I just feel, Aquarius, because you've had Saturn, my big boy of boundaries, Saturn in your sign for so long, I just feel that it's really been quite tough for you coping with the boundaries and the structural kind of changes that Saturn has been pushing you towards. And this full moon is saying, let's just go back to the beginning. Let's go to basics. Let's just look at, how do I want my daily working routine to look? What needs to go? How can I serve myself better? Is another way you can look at it. It's a great time of the year to really kind of work on that and get it absolutely ticking over nicely for how you want this year to unfold. And finally, we come to, wait for it, Pisces, my oceans of emotions. Hey, Pisces, How are you doing? So for you, Pisces, well, it's in the part of your chart connected with children. It's also creativity. It can be romance, and it can be kind of close friends. And I just wonder if changes have to happen with regards, if you have children, it could be that there are some certain changes that you need to think about making in perhaps how you relate to them, how you parent them. Remember that Saturn, our planet of boundaries, is going to come into your sign this year in the spring. And that's going to really help you put down roots and boundaries. Now, if you're a Piscean who is just kind of like free floating, this could be a really good full moon for you to get a clearer picture about what you want to focus on, because Pisces, you have so many good ideas. You get carried away, you go down this path, then you go down this path. Remember, Pisces, we have to focus on one thing and do it well. When we scatter all our energies, they just don't work. So look at what needs to go from your life in terms of things you're passionate about, projects that you're trying to launch. Don't try and build Rome in a day. It actually took longer. Build your dreams in a solid way. You're going to get Saturn helping you. Build your dreams in a solid way and focus on one thing and follow that star. There we go, Pisces. And everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this look at our first full moon of 2023, the full moon in Cancer on January the 6th. I'd like to wish you a very successful and bountiful and healthy new year. I hope it really works out well for you. This year is going to be so different. It really is. The energies are changing this year. So I think we're just going to be in a very different place in a year's time. So I wish you well. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.